everybody, what's up? My name is Suni and this is a new episode of Sippin with Suni. I have a new beer today and it is gonna be great. It's from Badger State. It's the Milkshake IPA Passion Fruit and it comes in this huge glass. So we're gonna crack this baby open right now. Ooh, sprayed a little bit, okay. And for the sake of just seeing what it looks like, we're gonna pour it in this glass. Ooh, wow. All the way to the top. This is a hefty glass, and look at that head. What? Ooh, 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 ooh. Wait, that taste at the end was weird. That tastes really weird at the end. So, this week we're going to talk about something a little bit serious. I grew up in the Midwest, and when you're living in an area that's pretty cold, people have a lot of seasonal depression and a lot of mental illness. Not saying that people who only live in cold areas have these issues. Any American can have these issues. But with how cold it is and the lack of light, a lot of people go through a lot of depression where I grew up. And with that, sometimes it can be very hard to maintain friendships and relationships with people who have these illnesses. And I think there's a lot of, misconceptions about mental illness. Obviously, this country does not do a good job of finding cures for mental illness, and doesn't even do a good job at, supporting people who have mental illness, supporting, for them to have a better life in terms of job security and such. But especially when you grow up in the Midwest and you see these things every day, it's hard to work with, and a lot of bad misunderstandings come out of it. So if you're dating someone or you're in love with someone or platonically, romantically, that does have a mental illness, please realize that their mental illness is their own and it's not your fault, but it's not their fault. It's something that they can't handle. And yes, those mental illnesses can be overwhelming. It can be a strain sometimes on your relationship. A few things that you should ask yourself is, and this is in no particular order, but you should ask themselves, is she or he trying to better themselves through their mental illness? If they're trying to better themselves, it means that they're acknowledging that this is not good for their life, and they're actively trying to make steps to better their life. And when someone does have a mental illness, it can't be about you. I mean, relationships should be 50-50, but in this case, a mental illness is such a burden sometimes that all he or she can do is just focus on getting through the day. So if that means that they're a little bit distant, if that means that they just need time to themselves, if that means that they're going to have to cancel a date night because they don't have the mental energy to just go through it and give you and them a good time on a date night, that's okay. Don't take it personally. Don't be like, oh, they canceled date night. And don't be like, oh, well, they must not love me. People with a mental illness who are going through a lot, they do love you. They do appreciate you. They do respect you. But if they're going through a bad phase, the most important thing is them. And the most important thing for them to do is to make sure that they're healthy enough to get through the day and to focus their energy on themselves. And they don't have enough energy to focus on you. But it doesn't mean that they don't love you. It means that they love you and respect you enough for you to not have to go through that with them. So If they are trying to find ways to better themselves, encourage them, support them. You need to have enough courage to acknowledge when things are bad and are not healthy for you. You have to find the courage to acknowledge that you might have issues that you need to work through. It takes courage to acknowledge that. It takes courage to accept responsibility. It takes an overwhelming amount of courage to pursue those insecurities and problems and try to make it better and try to make your life better. But realize that if you are with someone that does have a mental illness, continue to show love, continue to show support. Even on days if they seem distant, even on days if they might not be very nice, they do love you. They will always love you. Sometimes they might not say it or show it, but they do. And for those who do have a mental illness, you're not alone. You're very loved and you're very respected. And some days you won't be able to see that, and that's okay. But sometimes take a moment to, one, say I love you to those who are in your life and thank them for loving you. But also take a moment or two in your day and say 2 things about yourself that you love about yourself. Just 2 things. And it might not seem much in the long run, but if you're having a bad day and the world seems dark and gloomy, you'll be amazed at how many people in your life love you and care about you. And if you can find it in your heart to find 2 good things that you love about yourself, you'll realize that maybe you have more love for yourself than you thought. And then maybe the world isn't so gloomy. Maybe the world is pretty bright. You just gotta take your shades off to see it. So I guess my message today is all about love. Love yourself, love others around you. And it's okay to acknowledge that some days you might not love yourself, you might not love the life you love, but every day is a day to celebrate. You're here, you're alive, and you are so beautiful. So, love yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You're alive today. It's a good thing to be alive. So, cheers. Well, that was pretty serious, wasn't it? Well, I guess it's time to rate the beers. So, this is again from Badger State. A friend of mine got it from the Midwest, which is great. It's a 32-ounce too, so very grateful that they did that. It has a 7.6% alcohol, and this says milkshake IPA passion fruit, so I don't think this is one that they sell a lot, which is why they brought it in this can. The finish is not that great. It's very bitter, and that's not what I was expecting. If anything, it's a bit citrusy. It tastes a little bit of orange to it. The hoppy flavor is there, obviously, but the finish is just really weird. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to have to rate this beer probably a 5 out of 10. It is just not doing it for me. So, I know today we talked about a pretty long, serious thing. I hope I wasn't insensitive at all. I don't mean to be insensitive. Remember that when I talk about any of these topics, it's just literally my point of view and my observations of people around me. And I think the overall message that I want to get with everybody is that love is important. Self-love is important. Acknowledging when you have love in your life is important. And again, growing up with a family that has a lot of mental illness, I see firsthand how they accept love. And it can be really, really hard. And I'm not sunshine and roses every day. It's really hard for me to wake up sometimes. It's hard for me to acknowledge that people actually do love me in my life. So I hope that if you're watching this video and you are going through a lot in your life, or maybe you realize that a friend is going through a lot of hard stuff in your life, I hope this inspires you to really acknowledge the love in your life and accept it, and also to show those in your life the love. The world is really bad nowadays. There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of war, there's a lot of conflict, and it's easy to spread hate. But it's also easy to spread love. So, spread love, accept love, love yourself. Most importantly, love yourself. And if you can't, really try, and this works for me, really try to find 2 things that you love about yourself. Just 2 things, every day. And it can be little things. It can be something as simple as, I love the way I butter my toast. Or, I love the way how my hair looks in the morning. It can be something like that. And if you're having a hard day, or better yet, if you see someone that's having a hard day, show them love. Whether that's a hug, a high five, a joke, or whatever, show them love. Life is too short to not show love. People call me a little bit mushy, people call me a romantic, but I'd rather love than be cold and distant. But I know some people can't help but be cold and distant. So, love, 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 love. So, cheers to you. Happy Friday. You're alive. And if no one has told you yet, you are beautiful, and I love you. Keep on keeping on. I hope you guys have a great weekend with family. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. If you don't, happy weekend. This is for you.